What if I told you that your thoughts are not private? That every idea you entertain, every emotion you feel, sends out waves that others, whether they realize it or not, can pick up on. Imagine a world where communication isn't bound by language, where your mind has the power to connect directly with others, transmitting information across time and space. This isn't science fiction. It's real, it's happening, and it's something humanity has known for centuries, but has been conditioned to forget. Right now, as you listen to this, you're engaging in a form of telepathy without even realizing it. Words may be spoken, but the energy behind them is what you're truly receiving. Every interaction, every moment of intuition, every unspoken knowing glance, these are fragments of a larger, hidden ability within you. And once you learn to unlock it, your entire perception of reality will shift. The idea that thoughts can travel beyond the physical brain is not new. Ancient mystics, spiritual teachers, and even scientists have explored this for centuries. Alice Bailey, one of the greatest esoteric thinkers, spoke of the etheric vehicle, a subtle energy system that allows thoughts to move from one consciousness to another. Theosophists, shamans, and yogis all understood this invisible thread connecting human minds, using it to communicate, to heal, to guide. Even now, indigenous cultures around the world still rely on telepathic knowing, demonstrating an ability that modern society has tried to suppress. But why is it suppressed? Why are we told telepathy is just fantasy, while governments, intelligence agencies, and elite circles quietly study and exploit it? Because if the masses truly understood the power of consciousness, if you understood your own mind's capability, you would no longer be controllable. You felt it before, that eerie moment when you think of someone and suddenly they call you, the way you can sense a loved one's distress, even from miles away, the deep, unshakable feeling that tells you something is about to happen before any logical explanation arises. These aren't coincidences. They're flashes of a skill you were born with but never taught to master. Telepathy exists on multiple levels. The most basic is instinctual, emotional-based connections that are deeply rooted in the solar plexus chakra. This is why mothers and infants share an unspoken understanding, why animals seem to respond to human emotions, why people in close relationships can just know what the other is feeling. It's a primal, energetic exchange that transcends words, and yet we rarely acknowledge it as telepathy. Then there's mental telepathy, the ability to directly send thoughts, images, or even entire concepts from one mind to another. This is where the Ajna chakra, the third eye, comes into play. Certain monks, mystics, and meditators have spent lifetimes refining this skill, demonstrating that with the right training, thought transmission is not only possible, it's inevitable. In fact, studies in neuroscience are now revealing that synchronized brainwaves between individuals can occur even when they are separated by vast distances. But the most advanced form of telepathy is intuitional, a direct knowing beyond logic, beyond reason, beyond explanation. This is the energy that fuels prophecy, divine insight, and the ability to access knowledge instantaneously. Those who tap into this level are no longer bound by words. They exist in a frequency of pure consciousness. Science is catching up to what the ancients already knew. The human brain emits electromagnetic waves, frequencies that extend beyond the skull. EEG studies have shown that when two people are emotionally or mentally connected, their brain activity syncs, even when they are physically apart. Some experiments suggest that focused thought can alter random number generators, influencing outcomes simply through intention. And then there's quantum entanglement, a phenomenon so bizarre that even Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. If two particles can remain linked no matter how far apart they are, what does that say about human consciousness? But let's take this even further. The pineal gland, often referred to as the seat of the soul, is a biological receiver, a tuning device for higher consciousness. It is bathed in cerebrospinal fluid and surrounded by piezoelectric crystals, making it highly sensitive to electromagnetic energy. This is no accident. Ancient cultures knew this. The Eye of Horus in Egyptian symbolism, the third eye references in Hinduism, even the hidden knowledge within secret societies. They all point to the power of the pineal gland and its role in telepathic perception. But here's the problem. Your pineal gland has been calcified, suppressed, weakened through fluoride, processed foods, artificial light, and the constant bombardment of low-frequency distractions. The very system you live in was designed to dull your senses, to keep you trapped in a state where you no longer trust your own mind. But you can reverse it. You can reawaken this part of yourself and tap into the limitless potential of your consciousness. And once you do, you will start to notice something strange. The world around you will change, people's emotions will become more transparent, thoughts will feel clearer, and your intuition will sharpen to the point where you no longer need external validation for what you already know to be true. And if you're thinking, but I've never experienced telepathy before, let me ask you this. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt the energy? Have you ever sensed when someone was staring at you, only to turn and catch their gaze? Have you ever felt a strong presence near you despite being alone? These are glimpses of the greater reality beyond physical perception. What if I told you that with the right practice, you could send a thought to someone across the world and have them receive it? What if you could know someone's intentions before they even speak? What if you could access knowledge without needing books, without needing words, simply by tuning in? You can, but there's a reason not everyone does. Telepathic clarity requires discipline. It requires you to silence the noise, to strip away distractions, to refine your thoughts so that your transmissions are crystal clear. This is why most people never tap into their abilities, because they are drowning in mental clutter, filled with chaotic emotions and unfiltered stimuli. If you want to activate your telepathic potential, the first step is mastery over your own mind. The key is stillness. The power is in focus. The less scattered your mind is, the more powerful your telepathic signal becomes. This is why meditation is crucial. This is why visualization exercises are essential. The greatest telepaths, whether monks, mystics, or shamans, have all trained in deep, undisturbed concentration. There are exercises that can help you develop this skill. Partnered telepathy experiments where one person focuses on an image and another tries to receive it. Remote viewing, where you learn to perceive distant locations with nothing but mental intent. Even simple techniques, like sending a mental message to someone before they call you. Testing your ability to influence reality through thought alone. And here's the shocking truth. This ability is already being used in ways you can't even imagine. Elite groups, intelligence agencies, and advanced spiritual practitioners understand telepathic influence on a level that the average person cannot comprehend. This isn't just about one-on-one communication. This is about mass influence, collective thought manipulation, and the silent war over consciousness. But what if you took back your power? What if you sharpened your ability not just to communicate, but to protect yourself from unwanted telepathic interference? Because the moment you open your eyes to this reality, you can no longer be deceived. You can no longer be controlled. You are capable of much more than you've been led to believe. The question is, are you ready to remember? You have been conditioned to believe that your thoughts are isolated, that what happens inside your mind stays there. But that is an illusion, a carefully designed deception. The truth is, your thoughts radiate beyond your physical body, sending signals into the energetic field that connects us all. Every idea you hold, every feeling you suppress, every intention you focus on, it's all being broadcasted, and whether consciously or unconsciously, others are picking up on it. This is why you can walk into a room and instantly sense tension, even if no one says a word. This is why you can think about someone and moments later they call you. This is why a mother can wake up in the middle of the night, inexplicably knowing her child is in danger. These are not coincidences. These are glimpses of a reality that has been deliberately hidden from you. There is a reason ancient mystics spoke of the mind as an instrument, a receiver and transmitter of energy. Your consciousness is not trapped within your brain. It extends beyond it, operating in ways that modern science is only beginning to understand. The human heart, for example, generates an electromagnetic field that extends several feet beyond the body, and researchers have found that emotions like love and gratitude strengthen this field, making it more coherent, more powerful. But this is just the beginning. If you could truly harness the power of your mind, if you could sharpen your focus, clear away the noise, and direct your thoughts with precision, you would discover that telepathic communication is not only possible, it's happening all the time. You are simply not trained to notice it. The first step to awakening your telepathic potential is to eliminate interference. The world is filled with distractions designed to keep you mentally scattered, emotionally unstable, energetically weak. Social media, mass media, fear-based programming, these are all carefully crafted to keep you vibrating at a low frequency, unable to focus your energy in any meaningful way. And as long as your thoughts remain chaotic, your telepathic ability remains dormant. If you truly want to unlock your mind's potential, you must first regain control of it. Stillness is key. Silence is power. When your mind is quiet, your thoughts become sharper, your intuition stronger. This is why ancient spiritual traditions place such an emphasis on meditation, contemplation, inner stillness. It is not just a method of relaxation, it is a way of tuning into the unseen. Your ability to send and receive telepathic messages is directly linked to your energetic state. The more balanced your energy is, the clearer the transmission. Think of a radio. If the frequency is off, all you hear is static. But when you adjust the dial to the right station, the signal comes in clearly. Your mind operates the same way. If you are caught in a state of fear, anger, or doubt, your ability to communicate telepathically is scrambled. But when you enter a state of deep presence, when your mind is still and focused, your thoughts can be transmitted and received with perfect clarity. This is why certain monks, yogis, and advanced practitioners can demonstrate telepathic abilities that defy conventional understanding. They have trained their minds to focus, to send thoughts with intention, to receive information beyond the limits of the five senses. And this is not just a skill reserved for a select few. It is something you can develop. It is something you were born with. The second step is learning to direct your energy. Every thought you have carries a specific vibrational frequency. When you hold a thought in your mind with enough focus, it begins to take shape in the energetic field. The stronger the emotion attached to it, the more powerful the transmission. This is why highly emotional experiences are easier to sense telepathically. When someone is feeling intense fear, love, or excitement, their energy becomes amplified, making it easier to pick up on. This is also why you can sometimes sense when someone is thinking about you, even if they are far away. Their focus, their emotional charge, creates a ripple in the energetic field, and if you are tuned in, you can receive it. But most people dismiss these experiences, chalking them up to coincidence. They do not realize that they are witnessing the mechanics of consciousness in action. Once you understand how energy moves, you can begin to practice sending and receiving thoughts intentionally. Start with small experiments. Picture a specific symbol or image in your mind, then focus on sending it to a friend without telling them. See if they can pick up on it. Try sensing what someone is thinking before they speak. Pay attention to the subtle impressions that come to you. The more you practice, the more refined your ability becomes. But here's where things get even more interesting. Telepathy is not just about sending and receiving thoughts. It is also about perception. The more attuned you become to the energy around you, the more you begin to notice things you were previously blind to. You start picking up on people's true intentions, feeling the hidden emotions behind their words. You begin to sense events before they happen, intuitively knowing the right course of action before any logical explanation presents itself. At first, this ability may feel subtle, almost imperceptible, but over time it strengthens, becoming as natural as any of your other senses. And then something incredible happens. You start to see reality differently. The world no longer feels random. Every thought, every emotion, every interaction reveals itself as part of a greater, interconnected whole. And this is where telepathy transcends mere communication. It becomes a gateway to a higher understanding, a deeper knowing of yourself and the universe. The great mystics, the sages, the spiritual teachers of old, they were not just philosophers. They were master telepaths. They understood that consciousness is not confined to individual minds, but part of a vast, infinite intelligence. Imagine what this means for the future of humanity. Imagine a world where people no longer need to rely on words to express their deepest truths, where misunderstandings are eliminated, where deception is impossible, where people can truly see and feel one another's thoughts and emotions as clearly as their own. Imagine a civilization where telepathic communication is not just accepted but cultivated, taught from an early age, integrated into daily life. This is not a fantasy, this is the direction in which human consciousness is evolving. The barriers that separate minds are beginning to dissolve. The more people awaken to their true nature, the more telepathic abilities will emerge. And this is why those in power do not want you to know about it. Because a world where people can communicate beyond language, beyond deception, beyond control, is a world they can no longer manipulate. They rely on keeping you disconnected, unaware of your true abilities. They distract you with meaningless entertainment, flood you with negative energy, encourage a culture of constant noise so that you never take the time to truly listen. But once you do, once you silence the distractions, once you step into your power, everything changes. You begin to feel the world, not just see it. You start to hear the thoughts behind the words, sense the truth behind the illusion. And once you know the truth, once you experience the reality of telepathic connection firsthand, you can never go back. You were never meant to live in isolation, locked within the confines of your own mind. You were always meant to connect, to communicate, to experience the world through a level of awareness far beyond what you've been taught. And now the question is, are you ready to remember? There is something powerful happening right now, a shift, a waking up. More and more people are realizing that they are not isolated, that their thoughts, their emotions, their very consciousness is part of something much greater. Maybe you've felt it too. Maybe you've noticed that your intuition is getting stronger, that you can sense things before they happen, that you know what someone is about to say before they speak. Maybe you've had moments of clarity where you feel completely in tune with the world around you, as if reality itself is responding to your energy. This is not your imagination. This is not random. This is the beginning of something much bigger. Telepathy is not just about transmitting thoughts. It's about deepening your perception. It's about seeing beyond the surface, feeling beyond the words, knowing without needing proof. And this ability isn't just developing on an individual level, it's expanding collectively. Right now, there are countless others awakening to the same truth. They're beginning to notice the connections between their thoughts and the world around them. They're recognizing that reality is not just happening to them, they are influencing it with every single vibration they emit. And here's the part that most people overlook. Telepathy is not just a skill, it is a responsibility. Because the more sensitive you become to the thoughts and emotions of others, the more aware you become of the energy you are putting out into the world. Every thought you think, every word you say, every feeling you hold, it all carries a frequency. It doesn't just stay inside you, it ripples out, affecting the people around you, shaping the energy of the space you exist in. And when enough people focus on the same frequency, the same idea, the same emotion, it creates a powerful force. A collective energy field that can shape the course of reality itself. This is why meditation is not just about relaxation. It is about training your consciousness. It is about fine-tuning your ability to send and receive energy with intention. This is why ancient mystery schools, spiritual traditions, and even secret societies have always placed such emphasis on mental discipline. Because thought, when properly directed, is the most powerful force in existence. The greatest leaders, the most influential minds in history understood this. The ability to focus energy, to direct thought with precision, is what separates those who shape reality from those who are shaped by it. But here's where things get even deeper. If thoughts can be transmitted, if consciousness can influence reality, then what happens when you are not the only one sending signals? What happens when there are forces, governments, corporations, media, deliberately broadcasting frequencies designed to influence your mind without you even realizing it? This is not speculation. This is happening right now, You are surrounded by frequencies designed to keep you distracted, fearful, reactive. The news you consume, the music you listen to, the endless stream of content flooding your mind, it all has an effect. It is all shaping your frequency, conditioning your thoughts, programming your subconscious. And the more unaware you are of this, the more susceptible you become. Think about it. Have you ever felt overwhelmed for no apparent reason? Have you ever been in a great mood, only to suddenly feel drained, anxious, or angry after watching certain content, scrolling through social media, or even just being in a certain place? That's not a coincidence. That's energy. That's influence. That's the unspoken war over consciousness, the silent battle being fought in the minds of millions every single day. But the moment you become aware of this, the moment you realize that your thoughts are not just reactions but transmissions, you take back control. You stop absorbing energy unconsciously and start directing it with purpose. And once you do that, everything changes. Because the truth is, you don't need technology to send messages across distances. You don't need words to communicate your truth. The most advanced form of communication has always been energetic. It has always been vibrational. And when you begin to refine your thoughts, clear your mind, and focus your intention, you start to notice that reality responds to you in ways you never imagined. You start receiving answers before you even ask the questions. You begin to align with people who are on the same wavelength, drawn together by an unseen force. You start influencing your environment effortlessly because your frequency is in harmony with what you desire. And this is where the most important realization comes in. If thoughts are energy, and energy can be transmitted, then you are never truly alone. No matter where you are, no matter what situation you are in, there are always others who can feel you. There are always those who can hear your thoughts, sense your emotions, pick up on your energy. And the more you awaken to this truth, the more you realize that connection is not limited by space, by time, by physical barriers. This is why the greatest minds, the greatest visionaries have always understood the power of thought. Nikola Tesla once said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He knew, the ancient mystics knew, the esoteric traditions, the hidden teachings, the suppressed knowledge. It has always pointed to the same truth. Consciousness is not bound by the body. It extends beyond it. It moves through time and space. It connects everything. So the question is, what do you do with this knowledge? Now that you understand that your mind is a transmitter, that your energy is influencing reality, how do you use it? Because this isn't just about knowing, it's about applying. It's about sharpening your focus, refining your awareness, training yourself to become an active participant in the unfolding of reality instead of just an observer. Start by becoming aware of the signals you are sending out. Pay attention to the thoughts you hold, the emotions you dwell in, the energy you project. When you feel a strong thought or emotion, observe how the world responds. Begin small. Practice sending a message to someone you know without speaking. Imagine them receiving it. Focus on a feeling, not just a word. See what happens. Pay attention to your intuition. When a thought pops into your mind seemingly out of nowhere, don't dismiss it. Follow it. Test it. Start trusting the deeper intelligence that is moving through you. And most importantly, protect your mind. Become selective about what you consume. Be mindful of the energy you allow into your space, because the more you refine your own vibration, the more clearly you will be able to perceive the vibrations around you. And once you step into this power, once you fully embrace the reality that your consciousness is limitless, you will begin to experience life in a way you never have before. You will start seeing synchronicities everywhere. You will feel the invisible connections between people, between places, between events. You will start moving through life with a sense of clarity and purpose, no longer questioning whether you are on the right path. Because you will simply know. Because telepathy is not just a skill. It is a gateway. It is a doorway to an entirely new way of being. A way of existing in full awareness of the infinite intelligence that flows through all things. And the more you develop it, the more you will begin to understand that the greatest truths, the most profound knowledge, the deepest connections, none of them come from outside of you. They have always been within you, waiting for you to listen. And now that you have begun to hear, now that you have begun to remember, there is no going back. The only question left is, what will you do with this power? Right now, you are standing at the edge of something profound. The moment you accept that your thoughts are not confined within your mind, that your consciousness is not locked inside your skull, you begin to see the world in an entirely new way. You start to realize that reality is not as rigid as you've been led to believe. That every interaction, every experience, every so-called coincidence is part of an intricate web of energy, constantly shifting, constantly responding to the frequencies being emitted. And the moment you acknowledge this, the moment you truly understand the depth of your influence, you take your first step into mastery. But mastery requires responsibility, because the more aware you become, the more you begin to notice the weight of every thought, every emotion, every vibration you send out. You are no longer moving through life unconsciously. You begin to see how the energy you put out is shaping your experiences, how the emotions you hold are influencing the people around you, how the thoughts you dwell in are manifesting into reality, and this realization changes everything. Think back to a time when you felt a powerful, unshakable emotion. Maybe it was love, maybe it was anger, maybe it was a deep sense of knowing, an intuition so strong you couldn't ignore it. In that moment, you were broadcasting a frequency, sending a signal into the field of consciousness that surrounds all things. And just like a radio wave, that signal was received. It affected the energy around you, it shifted the people near you, it altered the very course of events in ways you may not have realized. This is why certain individuals seem to have a magnetic presence, why some people can walk into a room and instantly change the atmosphere, why leaders, visionaries, and those who operate on a higher level of awareness can influence the minds of others without speaking a single word. It is not just their words. It is not just their body language. It is the frequency they are emitting. And once you understand this, once you realize that you too are constantly emitting a signal, you begin to take control. Because if you are not consciously directing your energy, someone else will do it for you. The world is filled with frequencies competing for your attention. Every advertisement, every headline, every social media algorithm is designed to hijack your thoughts, to pull you into a narrative that keeps you distracted, reactive, and disconnected from your true power. And the more unaware you are of this, the easier it is for your energy to be manipulated. But once you become conscious of this, once you reclaim control of your own frequency, the game changes. You no longer allow fear to dictate your thoughts. You no longer allow doubt to cloud your intuition. You begin to refine your energy, to filter out the noise, to elevate your vibration so that only truth, only clarity, only pure intent remains. And when you do this, something incredible happens. You start to align with the hidden language of the universe. You begin to notice synchronicities, patterns that once seemed random now reveal themselves as part of a greater design. You start thinking of someone, and moments later, they call you. You begin focusing on an idea, and suddenly the resources, the people, the opportunities to bring that idea to life appear before you. You stop forcing things, stop chasing things, stop struggling against the current of life, because you finally realize that you are the current. But this is where most people stop. They see the signs, they feel the shifts, they experience the subtle whispers of telepathic connection, but they never go beyond the surface. They never fully trust their ability. They second-guess themselves. They convince themselves it's just their imagination, just a coincidence, just a trick of the mind, and in doing so they close the very door they were on the verge of walking through. But what if instead of doubting you leaned in? What if you started treating telepathic communication not as a rare phenomenon but as a skill you can sharpen? What if, instead of dismissing those intuitive nudges, you followed them? What if, instead of waiting for proof, you became the proof? Because here is the truth. Every great mind, every revolutionary thinker, every spiritual teacher who has ever walked this earth has known this secret. They have known that the mind is not limited by the body, that consciousness is not bound by time or space, that telepathy, intuition, energetic influence, these are not supernatural abilities, they are natural. They are fundamental. They are part of what it means to be human. But the difference between those who master these abilities and those who ignore them is belief. Those who believe, those who practice, those who refine their awareness, they become unstoppable. They move through life with a sense of clarity and confidence that others cannot understand. They manifest with ease, they connect deeply, they influence effortlessly. Because they are not operating within the illusion of separation. They see the invisible threads that link all things. They understand the mechanics of energy. And now you are beginning to see it too. So what do you do with this knowledge? How do you take the first step toward fully unlocking your telepathic potential? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to the moments when you sense something before it happens, when you feel an emotion that isn't yours, when a thought enters your mind seemingly out of nowhere. Instead of dismissing these moments, observe them. Document them. Test them. Begin small. When you wake up in the morning, take a moment to tune into the energy of the day. Before you check your phone, before you allow external information to influence your state of mind, sit in silence. Feel the air around you. Sense the energy. What do you pick up? What impressions come through? Then, as you move through your day, notice if those impressions prove to be true. Practice sending thoughts intentionally. Choose someone you are close to, someone you have a strong connection with. Picture them in your mind. Focus on a single word, a single image, a single feeling, and send it to them. Don't force it, don't overanalyze it, just let it go. Then wait. See if they reach out. See if they mention something related to what you sent. Over time, you will begin to notice patterns. You will start to recognize the difference between a random thought and a telepathic impression. You will feel the subtle shift in energy when a connection is being made. And once you become fluent in this language, once you trust it, once you refine it, you will no longer need to question whether telepathy is real, because you will be living it. And here's the most important part. This is not just about proving something to yourself. This is about unlocking a level of awareness that will change the way you experience life itself. This is about stepping beyond the limitations of ordinary perception and seeing reality for what it truly is. This is about reclaiming the power that has always been yours. And the moment you fully embrace this, the moment you stop doubting and start knowing, the universe will respond in ways you never thought possible. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people, receiving the right insights. You will feel guided as if something unseen is working with you, aligning events in your favor. And that's because it is. Because once you step into this frequency, once you align yourself with this higher state of awareness, life itself begins to communicate with you. And that is when you will realize telepathy is not just a skill. It is the key to unlocking the deepest truths of the universe. And now that you have begun to see, now that you have begun to remember, the only question left is, what will you do next? You are beginning to realize that the way you've been taught to perceive reality has been incomplete. That your mind is more than just a collection of thoughts, more than just a biological process happening inside your brain. Your consciousness extends beyond your body. It radiates outward like an energetic field, constantly interacting with the world around you, constantly receiving and transmitting information. And when you finally accept this truth, you will begin to notice things that others ignore. You will walk into a room and feel the unspoken emotions lingering in the air. You will sit in silence and suddenly understand things that were never spoken aloud. You will think of someone and moments later they will reach out to you, responding to an invisible thread of connection that neither of you fully comprehend. But this is not magic. This is not a rare ability possessed by only a select few. This is the natural state of human consciousness, a state that has been buried beneath layers of conditioning, distractions, and limitations designed to keep you asleep. Imagine for a moment what it would be like to fully embrace this ability. To move through life with a heightened sense of awareness, to never second-guess your intuition, to know without needing proof. Imagine being able to feel the truth behind someone's words, to sense deception before it even happens, to communicate with those you love without the need for spoken language. Imagine how different the world would be if people truly understood that their minds were not separate, that their thoughts were not isolated, that they were part of something far greater than themselves. This is the reality that awaits you when you choose to awaken. When you stop dismissing your intuitive knowing, when you stop telling yourself that your telepathic experiences are just coincidences. When you start paying attention to the subtle whispers of energy that have always been there, waiting for you to listen. Most people go their entire lives never realizing this. They move through the world blind to the deeper connections that surround them, unable to perceive the silent conversations happening all around them. But not you. You are waking up. You are starting to remember. And as you do, you will find that the more you trust this ability, the stronger it becomes. And this is where it gets interesting. Because the moment you begin developing your telepathic awareness, the way you interact with the world will change. You will no longer rely solely on spoken words to understand others. You will start picking up on their unspoken thoughts, their emotional frequencies, their energetic imprints. And once you do, you will realize just how much of human communication exists beyond language. Think about the last time you felt uneasy around someone even though they seemed friendly on the surface. Think about the moments when you instantly connected with someone, as if you had known them forever. Think about the times when you sensed danger before anything actually happened. These are all signs that your telepathic awareness has always been active. You just weren't taught to recognize it. But now you are beginning to see. And as you continue down this path, you will begin to notice something else. The way your energy influences the people around you. The way your thoughts shift the atmosphere of a room, the way your presence alone can uplift or drain others, depending on the frequency you are operating from. Because the truth is, your mind is not just a receiver, it is also a transmitter. Every thought you think, every emotion you hold, every belief you reinforce, it all radiates outward, affecting the energy field around you. And once you become aware of this, you gain the power to control it. You begin to understand why some people seem to attract negativity wherever they go, while others effortlessly draw in opportunities, love, and abundance. You start to see why certain individuals can walk into a room and instantly command attention without saying a word. It is not luck, it is not coincidence, it is energy, it is frequency, it is vibration. And when you learn to master your own frequency, when you learn to regulate the thoughts you send out, when you begin to direct your consciousness with precision, you will find that reality itself bends to your awareness. This is why telepathy is more than just communication. It is creation. It is manifestation. It is the ability to align your thoughts so clearly with your desires that the universe has no choice but to respond. This is why the most powerful minds in history have always understood the importance of thought control, why ancient civilizations trained their initiates in mental discipline before teaching them higher wisdom, why spiritual masters have always emphasized stillness, focus, and meditation. Because the mind, when left unchecked, becomes chaotic, and chaotic thoughts create chaotic energy. But a mind that is trained, a mind that is disciplined, a mind that is focused with precision, this is the mind of a master. And this is what you are becoming. As you refine your telepathic awareness, you will begin to notice that your mind feels clearer, that your emotions become more balanced, that your intuition grows sharper with each passing day. You will stop needing external validation because you will know. You will stop relying on words to understand others because you will feel. You will stop seeking answers outside of yourself because you will recognize that the answers have always been within you, waiting for you to listen. And when you reach this state, you will begin to experience the world in a way you never have before. Time will feel different. Reality will feel more fluid. People will react to you in ways they never did before, drawn to your energy, responding to the clarity of your presence. And here is where you will face your greatest test. Because the more powerful you become, the more you will begin to see how unconscious the rest of the world still is. You will see how people move through life without awareness, how they allow their minds to be controlled by fear, by doubt, by outside influences that they do not even recognize. You will see how so many are trapped in patterns of negativity, unaware that they are the ones creating their own suffering. And in this moment you will have a choice. Do you lower your frequency to match theirs? Do you allow yourself to be pulled back into the illusions you have worked so hard to escape? Or do you remain centered in your power, holding your awareness, leading by example, showing others what is possible? Because make no mistake, your awakening is not just for you. The more you raise your consciousness, the more you elevate the frequency of those around you. The more you master your telepathic abilities, the more you contribute to the collective shift that is already underway. And this is why you are here. You did not come here just to exist. You did not come here just to consume, just to survive, just to follow the script that has been handed to you. You came here to remember, to wake up, to reclaim the knowledge that has been hidden from you. And now the question is, what will you do with it? Because the moment you decide to embrace your power fully, the moment you commit to refining your consciousness, the moment you stop doubting and start knowing, you will step into a version of yourself that is unstoppable. And when that happens, there will be no turning back. Because once you see the truth, you can never unsee it. Once you experience the reality of telepathic connection, you can never go back to believing in separation. Once you feel the limitless nature of your own consciousness, you can never again live as though you are small. And so I ask you again, now that you know, what will you do next? You are beginning to understand that your mind is far more powerful than you were ever taught, that your consciousness is not just an observer of reality, but an active force shaping it. You are no longer just hearing these words, you are feeling them. You are sensing them beyond sound, beyond logic, beyond language. Something inside you is stirring, something ancient, something familiar, because deep down, you already know this. You have always known this. The truth was never hidden from you. It was simply buried beneath layers of conditioning, distractions, and doubt. But the moment you choose to break free from that conditioning, the moment you stop waiting for permission to access your own power, everything shifts. You begin to notice the silent intelligence that has always been guiding you. You start recognizing the subtle energies that flow between people, between places, between moments. You start seeing through the illusion of separation, understanding that your thoughts do not end where your body does. They extend outward, shaping the very fabric of reality itself. And now you are beginning to feel what it means to be truly awake. Because telepathy is not just about communication, it is about connection. It is about stepping into a level of awareness where words are no longer necessary, where understanding happens instantly, where knowledge is transmitted not through sound but through direct experience. And the more you practice, the more you refine this ability, the more effortless it becomes. Think about it. Every time you have felt an instant connection with someone, every time you have walked into a room and immediately sensed the energy, every time you have known something without being told, you have already been using this ability. But now, instead of letting it happen by accident, you are learning to do it intentionally. And that is the difference between those who merely experience glimpses of higher awareness and those who master it. Mastery begins with presence. It begins with learning how to quiet the noise of the external world so that you can hear the signals being transmitted on an energetic level. It begins with recognizing that your thoughts are not random, that your emotions are not isolated, that every vibration you emit is shaping the world around you in ways you cannot yet fully comprehend. And the moment you take responsibility for this, the moment you fully own the power you hold, you will start seeing results so undeniable that you will wonder how you ever lived without this awareness. You will begin to influence reality with your mind alone, drawing experiences into your life with nothing but focused intention. You will see how people respond to your energy before you even speak, how your presence alone can shift the mood of an entire space, how your thoughts ripple through the fabric of existence, setting events into motion long before they unfold in the physical world. And when this happens, you will realize that telepathy is not just about sending thoughts from one mind to another. It is about aligning yourself so completely with the truth of who you are that the universe itself begins to reflect it back to you. It is about becoming so attuned to your own energy, so clear in your intention, so unwavering in your knowing, that everything and everyone around you begins to respond in kind. This is why those who truly understand this power use it wisely, because once you realize that your thoughts are not just private musings but forces of creation, you begin to choose them more carefully. You begin to see why fear and doubt are so destructive, why anger and resentment only serve to lower your vibration, why every single thought you entertain is either working for you or against you. And this is where most people struggle, because for so long they have been taught that their thoughts don't matter, that their feelings are fleeting, that their consciousness is just a byproduct of the brain, bound by the limitations of the physical body. And because they believe this, they unknowingly sabotage themselves. They allow their energy to be scattered, their minds to be filled with distractions, their emotions to be hijacked by forces that do not have their best interest at heart. But you are no longer one of those people. You are stepping into something greater. You are stepping into mastery. And with that mastery comes a choice. Will you continue to live unconsciously, allowing the world to shape your energy for you? Or will you take control, directing your thoughts, refining your awareness, training your mind to operate on a level that most people will never reach? Because the truth is, once you unlock this ability, once you begin to use it with full awareness, there is no going back. You will no longer be able to tolerate low vibrations. You will no longer be able to exist in a state of confusion, doubt, or fear. Your frequency will be too high. Your energy will be too refined. You will attract only those who match your level of consciousness, only those who operate with the same level of intention, and those who do not, they will fall away, because when you start vibrating at a higher frequency, you become untouchable. Negative energy no longer affects you in the same way. Fear no longer controls you. You stop reacting to the world and start creating it, and that is the greatest power of all. So now ask yourself, what will you do with this power? Will you keep it to yourself, using it only for personal gain? Or will you use it to elevate those around you, to help others wake up to their own potential, to shift the collective consciousness in a way that has never been done before? Because the more people awaken to this truth, the more unstoppable we become. Imagine a world where telepathy is not just an anomaly but a common practice. Imagine a world where deception is impossible, where manipulation cannot exist, because everyone can feel the truth behind the words. Imagine a world where human beings no longer rely on language alone, but communicate through pure energy, through direct knowing, through a level of understanding so deep that conflict becomes obsolete. That is the world we are moving toward, and whether you realize it or not, you are part of that shift. Every moment you spend refining your awareness, every time you trust your intuition, every time you use your telepathic ability, even in the smallest ways, you are contributing to this evolution. And now you have a choice. You can dismiss this as interesting but impractical. You can walk away, go back to your daily routine, pretend that none of this matters. Or you can take this seriously. You can commit to developing this ability, to training your mind, to unlocking the full potential of your consciousness. You can step fully into the truth of who you are and start living at the level you were always meant to. Because once you make that decision, once you truly embrace your power, the universe will respond in ways you cannot even imagine. The synchronicities will multiply, the connections will deepen, the insights will come faster than ever before, and suddenly, life will no longer feel like a series of random events, but like a perfectly orchestrated symphony, unfolding exactly as it was always meant to. And that is when you will understand, with absolute certainty, that this was never just a theory, that telepathic communication is not a fantasy, that your consciousness was never limited, never separate, never small. It was always infinite. It was always powerful, and now you are ready to claim it. You are beginning to understand that reality has never been what you were told, that your mind is not just an observer but an architect, that your thoughts are not just passing ideas but frequencies shaping the world around you. And now you are no longer just hearing this, you are feeling it. Something deep within you is resonating with this truth, because this truth has always been inside you, hidden beneath layers of conditioning, buried under distractions, waiting for the moment you would remember. And now, that moment has arrived. You have always been connected to the people around you, to the thoughts that fill the air, to the unseen forces that shape existence. You have felt it in moments of deep intuition, in sudden bursts of knowing, in the silent conversations that happen without words. You have felt it in the way your body reacts before your mind catches up, in the way you sense a presence before you see it, in the way you just know things without knowing how you know. These are not accidents. These are not anomalies. These are glimpses of a reality far greater than what you have been taught to believe. And now you are standing at the threshold of something even greater. The more you awaken, the more you begin to see the invisible threads that connect all things. The more you refine your awareness, the more you notice the subtle, unspoken energies that move between people, between places, between moments. The more you trust this ability, the stronger it becomes. And then, something incredible happens. You stop questioning whether telepathic communication is real, because you are experiencing it in ways that cannot be ignored. You will begin to notice that when you think of someone with enough focus, they will reach out to you. That when you direct your thoughts with clear intention, people around you will respond before you even speak. That when you align your energy with a specific outcome, reality bends to accommodate it, and at first this will feel strange, even surreal. But as it continues to happen over and over again, you will begin to realize that this is how things were always meant to be. And that is when you will begin to reclaim your power. Because once you understand that your thoughts do not stay locked inside your mind, once you realize that you are constantly sending and receiving information on an energetic level, you will start to see why the world has tried so hard to keep this knowledge hidden from you. They don't want you to know how powerful you are. They don't want you to understand that your consciousness is limitless, because the moment you do, you become untouchable. You stop being controlled by fear. You stop being manipulated by illusion. You stop believing in limitations that were never real to begin with. And that is the moment you step into something extraordinary. You will start to notice that the world around you reacts differently. People will pick up on your energy without realizing it. They will feel your thoughts before you express them. They will sense your intentions before you act on them. Because as your awareness expands, your presence becomes more powerful. Your frequency becomes undeniable, and those who are still asleep will not understand why they feel drawn to you, why they trust you without knowing why your presence alone seems to shift the energy of any space you enter. And this is where you must be careful, because the more powerful you become, the more responsibility you hold. Your thoughts will shape not just your reality, but the realities of those around you. Your energy will influence others in ways you may not even intend. And this is why true mastery is not just about awakening, it is about control, it is about discipline, it is about refining your mind so that every thought you send out is aligned with your highest truth. Because the moment you stop letting your mind run on autopilot, the moment you take full command of your energy, the moment you start directing your consciousness with intention, you will see just how powerful you truly are. And then something even more profound will happen. You will begin to see how everything is connected. You will understand that telepathic communication is not just about sending thoughts from one mind to another. It is about tuning into the infinite intelligence that surrounds you. It is about accessing knowledge that has always been there, waiting for you to listen. It is about dissolving the illusion of separation and stepping into a reality where everything is part of a unified field of consciousness. You will start receiving insights that seem to come from nowhere. You will begin to perceive answers before you even ask the questions. You will move through life with a knowing so deep, so unshakable, that you will no longer need validation from the outside world. You will simply know. And when this happens, you will realize that you are not just a receiver of information, you are a transmitter. You are constantly shaping reality with every thought you hold, every vibration you emit, every belief you reinforce. And as you refine this ability, as you hone your telepathic awareness, you will start to influence reality in ways you never imagined possible. You will begin to notice that your presence alone can change the energy of a room, that your thoughts can shift the course of events, that your intentions can shape the experiences of those around you. And when you reach this level of mastery, you will understand why this knowledge has been suppressed. Because a world full of telepathically aware beings is a world that cannot be deceived. It is a world where lies cannot survive, where manipulation has no power, where people operate from truth rather than illusion. It is a world where human connection is based on authenticity, where misunderstandings dissolve, where the deepest aspects of our consciousness are finally understood. And this is where you must make a choice. You can choose to step fully into this power, to refine your awareness, to master the language of energy, to become a conscious creator of your reality. Or you can choose to turn away, to retreat back into the familiar, to continue living as though this knowledge is just an interesting idea rather than the truth of your existence. But if you are still listening, if you have felt the resonance of these words deep within you, then you already know what choice you are going to make. You are not here by accident. You are here because you are ready, because something inside you is waking up, because your soul remembers what your mind has forgotten. And now, there is no turning back. From this moment on, you will begin to notice things you never noticed before. You will start to see the energy between people. You will feel the subtle shifts in vibration before anything even happens. You will begin to hear the silent language of the universe, the whispers of intuition guiding you in ways you never understood before. And when that happens, you will know with absolute certainty that telepathy is not just an ability. It is a gateway. It is a doorway to a new way of being, a higher state of consciousness, a level of awareness that transcends everything you once believed about reality. And now that you have seen the door, now that you have felt the truth, the only question left is, will you walk through it? You have felt the shift. You have sensed the change. And now something inside you is calling, pulling you toward a truth that has always been there, waiting to be remembered. You can no longer ignore the whispers of intuition, the moments of knowing, the deep feeling that there is something more, because now you see it, now you feel it, now you know. There was a time when you questioned whether telepathy was real, a time when you dismissed your intuitive nudges as coincidence, a time when you believed that thoughts were just private conversations within your own mind. But that time is over, because now you have experienced it. You have seen the evidence in your own life, the moments when you felt someone's emotions before they spoke, the times when a thought entered your mind only for reality to reflect it back to you moments later, the way your energy influences the people around you, the way connections form effortlessly when the frequencies align. And this is only the beginning. Because the more you accept this, the stronger it becomes. The more you trust in your ability to send and receive energy, the more effortless it feels. The more you refine your awareness, the more deeply you will understand just how much of reality exists beyond the physical senses. And this is why you can never go back. You will never again be able to walk through life believing that you are separate from the world around you. You will never again dismiss a gut feeling as mere imagination. You will never again believe that thoughts are contained within the mind, that consciousness is confined to the body, that your awareness is limited to what you can see, hear, and touch. Because now you know better. You know that you are part of something vast, that every thought you send out ripples through the unseen field that connects us all, that every intention you hold shapes the energy of your reality, that every interaction is not just an exchange of words, but an exchange of frequencies. And now, you must decide what to do with this power. Because telepathy is not just about sending messages to another person's mind, it is about stepping into a new way of being. It is about mastering your energy, aligning with your highest self and operating from a place of deep awareness. It is about moving through the world with an understanding that transcends language, an intelligence that does not rely on words, a knowing that cannot be explained but is felt in every cell of your being. This is what it means to be truly awake. And once you reach this state, everything changes. People will start responding to you differently. You will attract those who operate on the same frequency, and those who do not will fade away. You will find yourself effortlessly in the right place at the right time, receiving the right information, making the right decisions with a certainty that is unshakable. You will begin to see the hidden architecture of reality, the patterns that were always there but only now revealed themselves. And then you will no longer question whether you are powerful, you will know. But with power comes responsibility, because when you understand how energy moves, how thoughts shape reality, how telepathic influence is always at play, you must decide how you will use this knowledge. Will you use it for self-gain, manipulating outcomes to serve only your desires? Or will you use it to elevate those around you, to bring awareness to those still asleep, to shift the collective frequency of humanity itself? Because make no mistake, your awakening is not just for you. Every time you step into your own power, every time you refine your thoughts, every time you elevate your vibration, you are affecting the entire field of consciousness. Every time you send out a signal of love, clarity, and wisdom, you are counteracting the fear, confusion, and chaos that has kept so many trapped in limitation. Every time you choose awareness over ignorance, you are contributing to the great shift that is already unfolding. And that is the greatest secret of all. You were never meant to do this alone. You were never meant to walk this path in isolation. You were always meant to connect, to share, to unite with others who are also waking up. Because the more people who remember this truth, the faster the illusion collapses. The more people who reclaim their telepathic abilities, the harder it becomes for deception to exist. The more people who recognize that consciousness is not confined, that we are all part of a vast, interconnected intelligence, the more this world transforms. And it is happening, right now. This is why you were drawn to these words. This is why you are hearing this message. Because deep inside you already knew. Because on a level beyond thought, beyond time, beyond language, you were always meant to receive this. So now you must choose. Will you take this knowledge and let it fade into the background of your mind? Will you go back to your routine, letting doubt creep in, convincing yourself that what you have just felt was nothing more than an interesting idea? Or will you embrace it fully? Will you step into your power? Will you refine your ability, sharpen your awareness, and become a conscious creator of your reality? Because the truth is, you are already doing it. You are already influencing the energy around you, whether you realize it or not. You are already sending out signals, already transmitting thoughts, already shaping reality with every vibration you emit. The only difference between those who live unconsciously and those who live with mastery is awareness. And now you are aware. There is no going back. From this moment forward, everything you do, everything you think, everything you feel will carry a new level of awareness. You will begin to notice how energy moves through conversations. You will start to feel the weight of thoughts before they are spoken. You will see patterns in the way events unfold, recognizing that nothing is truly random. And most of all, you will know that you are not separate, that you are not isolated, that you are not just an individual drifting through life. You are part of something greater. And that is when the real journey begins. Because the more you practice, the more you refine your telepathic abilities, the more you will see just how limitless you truly are. You will start receiving insights before you even ask for them. You will feel people's emotions before they express them. You will find yourself effortlessly aligned with the right circumstances, effortlessly connected to those who share your frequency, effortlessly in sync with the flow of existence itself. And then you will understand why telepathy is not just about communication. It is about evolution. It is about stepping into the next level of human consciousness. It is about reclaiming a power that has been within you all along. And now that you have remembered, the only question left is, what will you do next?